Make Comrade Show wait. Comrade Lante Oriente. This is the Comrade Show.
From Delta, he moves to Benin City in Edo State to appreciate the people there for casting their ballots for him, advising them to do the same for the State House of Assembly candidates next week.
On behalf of Lati and myself, I thank you sincerely. What we've been doing is going around and telling the people, thank you, showing them gratitude, and assuring you, though there's darkness, the day will follow. Though we go through darkness today, the day will follow. Your mandate will not go away in vain. I'm urging you, people of Edo State, and all Nigerians, election is coming up on the 18th. Go out and continue to vote for Labour Party.
With mission accomplished, and as Mr. Obi and his team depart the state, the hope is that he has done enough to convince the people to vote for all Labour Party candidates in all the places he has visited.
Yes, my people. With that very good intro, I want to join His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi to say thank you to all obedient fellow Nigerians and indeed all fans and lovers of the Comrade Show. It is your darling program, the Comrade and Friends, a segment of the popular Comrade Show. And today, the 12th of March 2023, we are here again to serve you, to have an interaction, and also to let you know that anytime in the course of the program, pick up your phone and let us know your thoughts. Today, I have the CNC in the house, the foremost obedient in the whole wide world. He'll be joining us today. And my humble self, your friend, your brother and comrade, Augustine Iremira. Unfortunately, Dr. Tony Agbons, obedient Dr. Tony Agbons, is unavoidably absent. He's somewhere doing the ministry for the growth of the obedient and to service our great nation. So we know we are running behind schedule, but want to kick the ball rolling immediately without wasting time. A lot has happened since the 25th of February 2023 when we have that very tumultuous, wonderful, earthquake seismic election. Of course, you know what happened thereafter. A president-elect has been declared, and certificate of return issued to the president in the president-elect in the person of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But no news. The Labour Party, because it is clear and it's very clear to everyone that there was a rape on democracy and a rape on election day. And we have since gone to court, and lots of things have happened thereafter. And in the course of our discussion today, we'll talk about it. Also, there was supposed to be the elections into governorship, gubernatorial election, and also elections into the House of Assembly. But INEC, in their wisdom, postponed the election from yesterday to next Saturday, the 18th of March. And that election is also important and very pivotal, especially in many states, those states in focus. We shall also be talking about that in the course of today's program. But you know the deal. Don't touch that die. Share, and share. And we are eating the notes immediately. Without wasting time, Komilate Bonsaraki, can you just say hello to our people before we begin to take discussions?
God bless you, my brother. Obedient from Mrs. Austin Iremira. Thank you so very much for having me, bro.
Thank you, Komilate Bonsaraki. Yes, let's just start immediately. Our viewers already know Nigeria is the latest news in the world, and discussion about our democracy is everywhere. Let's take off from a good example that our candidate, our president in a waiting, I dare say, His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi, has embarked on what he termed a thank you visit to some of the southern states in Nigeria. And we were lucky to have him yesterday in Edo State. What is your immediate reaction looking at that video and the tumultuous reception it got, even in the face of difficulties and challenges?
Thank you very much for my sister Iremira. Peter Gregory Obi is a very iconic personality. Every day, Obi, reacts to issues. Every day he treats, issues. You cannot but just love him. His own, trajectory, looking at this political, space, political window, has been very exemplary. And just this morning, I was telling a few persons that if there is one thing that Nigerians must appreciate in, Peter Obi, is the hope he has brought to this political landscape. And there is no way we can thrive as a people, given our challenges, without having something to hope on. Now, if you are watching this crowd right now, that was his reception in Benin City. You understand what I'm saying? Now, it is so everywhere. As a matter of fact, Lagos was locked down for Peter Gregory Obi. Same is everywhere he's been. The reason why this is happening is because for a very long time, we've been, as a people, we've been very dejected. Nothing really to look up to. Look at what we are going through right now. People have monies in banks, different banks across Nigeria. They can't access their money. You understand what I'm saying? This money they have worked hard for, because of policies of APC, you understand, with PDP laid foundation for APC to come and continue from where PDP stopped. So at the end of the day, having suffered so much bruises from the hands of the established political parties, the APC and the PDP, it becomes highly welcoming, for us to have a man like Peter Obi today around, okay, to give us that sense of hope that if we believe and if we do our own part, the possibility for the son of nobody to become somebody in a land where, what's it called, political cabals, have taken all opportunities away from the people. So we can just hope and pray and do our bit and ensure that obedience, take over Nigeria. In obedience, we can hope. And Obi is a symbol of that obedience. My brother, I think it's very nice. I'm happy.
Thank you so much, Komilate, for also here. I love the way you anchor it there. But I think since after the election, even in the face of all these shenanigans, Peter Gregory Obi and then Baba Yusuf Ahmed Dati, I think they've comported themselves in a very good way. Because if Peter Gregory Obi has gone on rampage, you agree with me that Nigerians, and indeed all obedient all over the world, would have also gone on rampage. But he's a man that believes that the system would work. He's very sure and hopeful that things will turn, not just for himself, but for the betterment of Nigerians. But Comrade, since after the election, although we've not had you have done a few broadcasts to speak about the election, we have not really on our Sunday program thanked our many fans, viewers, and obedient, and indeed all Nigerians that came out. Because whether you like it or not, Comrade Lamte, I think Nigerians did what they were supposed to do. They came out absolutely in their drove. And I think they should be commended. Like you always say, we all will not sleep and face one direction. Whatever divide you stand, I think the obedient came out, and we need to congratulate them. I want you to talk to the people on what they've done in this what they've been able to achieve in the space of 8 months, even though we are not resting, because we know we are going for the jugular, which is to get the headship.
God bless you, my brother. It's very key. Honestly, we are all in this together, and I'm sure Nigerians understand that. And it's one thing I appreciate about our people, to be very honest. We cannot just in one program thank the obedient family. We cannot just in a couple of programs express gratitude to the obedient family. The truth is that every obedient knows that where we are right now, it's a process, but the process is pragmatic, and there is hope around this process. Okay, somehow every obedient is thanking and encouraging every obedience. Because at the end of the day, the rain that falls, that falls on people in Lagos equally fall on people in Benin. The rain that falls on people in the northern part of Nigeria equally falls on people in what's it called, in the south. So at the end of the day, we are all in this together. You understand? But for the people who have become obedient because of Comrade Show, honestly, I want to express gratitude. So far, okay, INEC has given certificate of occupancy. I mean, certificate of
Return.
return. Well, it could equally be occupancy because only God knows if that was merited. And they did it in the wee hours of the morning when people were asleep. So many things orchestrated. The election is being fought and every other thing, but they've done what they did. And many people have been dejected. I have been, many of us have been, but we are back. We are no longer in slumber. We are not facing this reality. But what that is, there is so much the obedience have achieved. So much that hitherto were not possible within the Nigerian geopolitical space. So much. As we speak, okay, tens of Nigerians have been elected into the National Assembly. Some of these people were people that you would say they definitely would not have had any opportunity with APC and PDP. Okay, but APC and PDP were dislodged in their constituency. They didn't win on their own account. They won because Obi was the emblem of hope for the presidency. And so Nigerians went out there and voted for Labour Party all the way. Labour Party from top to bottom. And that was, the right step in the right direction. Because we can say so much about APC, we can say so much about PDP. We do not yet have any bad history about the Labour Party, spearheaded by Peter Gregory Obi. And looking at, the arrangements put in place by Peter Gregory Obi, his vision to reform the Labour Party and make it a party that we have, an ideology of competence, an ideology of integrity, an ideology of focus, and all of those, encompassed in the Labour Party, that anybody that becomes a Labour Party candidate or elected under the Labour Party structure, okay, would, naturally, or you understand what I'm saying now, immerse him or herself into, the ideological framework set, for the Labour Party through Peter Gregory Obi, so that hopefully, just hopefully, all of this is working together, Nigeria will be a better place. You understand? So for all this to work and to keep working, you understand what I'm saying? The commitment of all obedience definitely cannot be overemphasized. And on that note, I want to say honestly, as GCOO, Grand Commander of the Order of Obedience, I express gratitude on behalf of all obedience to all obedience, and of course, the would-be obedience, because many people are still going to be obedient as we get along. And by extension, I equally wish to express public gratitude to all of those state people, all Nigerians who supported the Comrade Show to enable us, being the election live. We did our best to cover as much ground as possible, cover the entire electoral landscape. We had so many volunteers on the field giving us, feedback, and all of that. All those things were made possible because people donated their 10,000, their 20,000, their 100,000, their 50,000. You understand? To get us put all of this thing in place. And honestly, I am honestly grateful. I would have reeled out names of people, but a number of these persons have said, look, we want to be anonymous. We don't want any public attention for what we have done. On that note, a huge thank you to you guys for what you did, for the Comrade Show. And I want to assure you, just like Peter Obi has said, our mandate is not lost. And for you to hope in this, Obi has been through this road before. He's been through this road while he was governor of Anambra State. As well, he's been through it twice, and he was reinstated. So, my people, I can assure you that Obi will be reinstated as president of Nigeria. Obi will be given the certificate of occupancy and all of that. And for those who have asked, people have asked me, what is the time frame for this? Okay, for all election, petitions and this and that, they cannot exceed 8 months, which means that between now and November, there must be, a Supreme Court judgment on this particular matter. But meanwhile, kudos to what we have all achieved together. Huge kudos. But there's more to go. We have the House of Assembly coming up. We have the, chairmanship election for those states coming up. All of this we are going to discuss as we get along. Over to you, Pharmacist Remeron.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Lamptey. You have really said that very correctly. I want to join you to thank all Nigerians and indeed obedience, and especially those people that worked for and with us to say that the battle was very, very Pyrrhic. Victory is ours, victory will be ours, and victory will come to us. And I also want to thank you for also letting us know that information, because I've been wondering as well. So hopefully, 8 months from May 29th, we should know where we are, like you said. Or is it 8 months from February? We should know where we are. So hopefully in November. There will not be a vacuum. If the tribunal does not come to a resolution before then, Bola Ahmed Tinubu may probably be sworn in. And of course, when the case is over, he would have to leave the seat. I also want to say something very important that you said. It's good to let our viewers know that Peter Gregory Obi is a man of many firsts. Comrade Lamptey did inform that he's been through this road twice. And for the benefit of that, I think it's 3 times. And I will make it very clear. The first one was that Obi was in the wilderness for almost 3 years until he claimed his mandate back and he got into office. He has not even done up to a year when he was impeached, and he went again to the court and got his mandate back. Then something very important happened, which is why today we have off-season elections among many governors in Nigeria. So after he finished his term, they said he was going to do only the remaining few months or years left to complete the first swearing-in of the former governor. Peter Gregory Obi went again to court and said, no, I was sworn in on a different day, I have to do mine. Yet again, he won. And that formed the fulcrum why you have different off-season elections among different states in Nigeria. Like when we go to the polls March 18th, not every state in Nigeria will be having election. A case in point, election for gubernatorial election or governorship election. A case in point is Edo State. I just wanted to put that in. But thank you so much, Comrade Lamptey Bonsaraki. You are the man that knows everything and you know all the inwisdom. But whilst we are still talking about these national elections and the Peter Obi and Labour Party movement, I had said I wasn't going to say this, but I know I've been to one of our shows where I heaped lots of praises on Buhari. At one point, I was thinking that the president was leaving everything free and allow everything to run its course. I still believe that, even though we know that this matter is not subject this because it's in court. But it will make sense for us to have a discussion. And Comrade Lamptey Bonsaraki, I don't want you to talk too much, but just to shed more light. I was agog and surprised and semi-astonished when the president of the Federal Republic, in far away on assignment, heaped loads of praises on the president-elect, and then said that this election is one of the best. I was surprised. Did that come to you as a surprise, Comrade Lamptey Bonsaraki, or Ab initio you never believed that Buhari meant well for us? But I want you to keep it very safe because it's sub judice. But I just wanted us to discuss it.
Yes. First and foremost, I was not disappointed. I wasn't, because we had discussed this previously, and I actually, said that President Muhammadu Buhari may go down in history as the one of the best presidents we've had, because anybody who's able to provide, an electoral process that will be hitch-free, where the votes of the people will count, and defend that and ensure that this election, the elections, they are not compromised and every other thing. As a president, that person definitely, with the state that in Nigeria, would definitely go down to, in the history books and all of that. However, I look at it again from the other angle. I think that Buhari may not go down, historically, you understand what I'm saying, as a good president as such, because he's already had a bad antecedent, so far with this present, 8-year course that is running and every other thing. This election, was supposed to be, that landmark achievement. You understand what I'm saying? And that we speak for him and becloud every other shortcomings is hard. Unfortunately, I think that he missed it. Whether he intended to miss it or he was just there, not really knowing that, INEC and APC had a different agenda. I cannot speak to that. But on his congratulation of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I cannot be surprised at that because I mean, this is his own same party with him. INEC has declared the result. You understand the picture of what I'm saying? It is, it behoves on the president, to congratulate whoever INEC has announced as the winner of the elections. Of course, again, Constitution provides a window for people to challenge, the outcome of elections if they are not happy with the result. He himself, as as somebody who has contested, passed through this process before, has equally been to court severally. And so I would hope that, he may still eventually put his name in the history books if he allows the process, the court process to be hitch free, within his time. Okay. I want to hope and believe that something will break between now and May 29 that will be to the benefit of all Nigerians. So my expectation would be that having put all of those things in place before elections, though they were compromised, let's excuse him that maybe he may not be aware of those things. It should be an independent, umpire, not influencing the outcome of any court process. Most especially, he is a president that has been known not to respect the outcome of court, processes all through his time. We can count different court judgments that this president has not, respected. Even one is right now under our nose, the old Nara notes and all of that. It's not being respected, and it's not saying anything about it. And even though the Supreme Court has issued a statement, so I want to hope and believe that, when Obi eventually is announced by the Supreme Court, or if something happens to cause the withdrawal of certificate of occupancy, certificate of return given to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the case may be, under his nose, Buhari's nose, that he would respect and ensure that that is carried out effectively. Another dynamic to this is that, like you rightly said earlier, what's his name? Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be sworn in on May 29th. Okay, so I want to believe and hope that Buhari is able to lay strong structures in place for the judiciary to be independent, irrespective of whether Bola Ahmed Tinubu becomes the president of the country or not. So all of these things are, different dynamics to this process that we are still looking at. But for us to make a final conclusion of these, there is still time. You understand what I'm saying? But I have been very disappointed in the role of Mr. President, who probably must have gotten the proper field reports of what has happened on the ground and all of that. But many things remain to be seen.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lante. Even in your speech, you still want to give the president a ray of hope and to say that he has opportunity in the few months left to get it right, and he may well go down as one of the best presidents Nigeria has had if he can give victory and allow justice to remain. But I must tell all our viewers and our fans out there, and indeed everybody, no matter how long it takes, truth cannot be covered for a long time. Truth will definitely come. Nothing will triumph over truth. I just have two more topics to talk about the national elections before we zero down on the forthcoming gubernatorial and House of Assembly elections happening across Nigeria. One is a bit comical, quite funny, and then but I think in it we have to make sense of some things. The president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in the course of the campaign period, even Peter Gregory Obi, and indeed Atiku, this chastise him to say, where is your certificate if indeed you went to school? Given the fact that in Nigeria, you don't really need to have a degree certificate to be a candidate for presidency. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not show us any certificate, even when press and everybody that meant well for Nigeria pressed for it. But since he has been given his certificate of return, which I can also say certificate of occupancy, Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been everywhere and all about displaying the certificate of return to the entire world and indeed to many Nigerians and different TV houses. And a friend once asked me, does it mean that there was no certificate before? Why is he happy? Is this his first certificate for that he will have in his lifetime? So, Komelante, in the sweetness and funniness of this situation, I just want you to make a comment on this certificate issue.
Bro, let's I always like to look at the historical background of something. Bola Ahmed Tinubu on many occasions, has revealed that being the president of Nigeria is a lifetime ambition. So the most important certificate that Bola Ahmed Tinubu at some point has ever looked up to is certificate of occupancy. Sorry, certificate of return. I keep calling it occupancy. Sorry about that.
In the Nigeria situation, it's not only return; they do occupy.
That's it. Now occupancy. But if you want to look at it in that direction, So at the end of the day, I am not surprised that he's very proud. He's happy. He's going about this like a child. He may have spent so much money, to get this, and that is why this is a structure that needs to be punctured, where people believe that money is going to answer all things for them. And again, when you look at the monies they have, they are money stolen from the system. The monies that ensure that we don't have good hospitals, we don't have good amenities, like the money that ensure that our own life expectancy has reduced so much, the monies they've stolen that has ensured that, we have become the poverty capital of this world. So all of these things, there are things that need to change. And that is why Obi being in this whole equation is in fact, we cannot overemphasize it enough that Obi being in this environment right now is the best thing that has happened to Nigeria and Nigerians in very many years. And we have to support Peter Obi, support the labor movement, support the obedient movement to see it through. So far, for me, Obi is victorious. So far, so many grounds have been broken. My brother, let Bola Ahmed Tinubu be a placeholder for the certificate of occupancy. When the real owner of the certificate is ready, the certificate of return, Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a placeholder will release it for the real owner, and that will be Peter Gregory.
Thank you so much. I love the way you anchor it. Like we always say to those wonderful guests, if you have it back and front, you can flaunt it. So he has it now, he can flaunt it only for a while. And then, like I said, truth will definitely prevail. Comrade Lante Kwawusaraki, we're just going to round up now on this national issue. But what I want to ask you now, what I want to talk about is very important. Some people have been saying that why have we not been protesting since this started and all the stories? But the way Peter Gregory Obi and the labor movement have comported themselves, they want to follow the entire process first. So I think if that process ends in a way that Nigerians don't like, I am sure, even without the prompt of Peter Gregory Obi, that Nigerians will come out in their full throttle. Because you agree with me that even when the president-elect was pronounced president-elect, the happiness within the land was rather obscured because they were still worried. And people that came out to vote actually knew who they voted for. That's on the one hand. Again, too, with our judiciary somewhat very difficult to do the right thing. My first question to you, do you trust the judiciary? Do we think that we are going to get justice and justice will be given to us? And somebody has also said, somebody made a comment on our comment handle just now, just to say that the judge that granted Labour Party and Peter Obi the power to go and investigate those materials or look at those materials or double check them has been transferred. How true, I don't know. And over the weekend, the Labour Party chair, Barrister Abure, came out to say that INEC has denied them the opportunity to go and do that cross-check. With all this put together, Comrade Lamte, should we be worried? Why? What do we do if things don't go well? What do you have to say in all this?
Okay, I will start with this last one. Yes and no. Yes, because we know the Nigerian factor and we know the desperation of the political class. and we know what they can do. We know what they have done in this election somehow. So that's, maybe a bit worrisome. No, because we must trust the capacity of the overwhelming evidences available in this case. One. Second aspect is that Obi has employed, a number of lawyers, sons, and all of that, some of whom, have never lost election before. I lost a case before. Some of whom have very good records at looking at issues like this. When it comes to political issues, some of whom have never lost and all of that. And some of whom will not even accept to have, to be in this process with Peter Obi if the evidences are not overwhelming enough. So what has happened on the 25th of February is something that is very, open to the blind. Even the deaf could hear it. That's how overwhelming it is. And with INEC uploading this, uploading that, the Benin man says, "Mowe, no nya where as we gonna move. Holy leg. The person when you get leg, no go leave leg, no you hold on. You understand? So the Benin man says, "I have venom to have there." When the wrestling begins, the space, will begin to widen, as it were, and all that. So I think that I want to trust the competence of the team, to deliver on this, because again, judges are able to make judgments sometimes when evidence are not really overwhelming. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that they should prove the case beyond reasonable doubt that the outcome of the election, based on the compromises that took place, okay, the compromises was enough to tip the balance of the election, to change the outcome of the election. And that's what the court is going to be looking at. Are the proofs being presented by the lawyers, are these ones enough, okay, to change the outcome of the results? You understand what I'm saying now? So if the things they are overwhelming, I'm sure that the court will have no other, and let's not forget, it is the same Nigerian courts too that granted Obi and Atiku Abubakar, the right to review INEC, materials, as it were, to make their case and prove their case. So, and again, that point is that Obi is not in this alone. Atiku equally is fighting. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, INEC will deny Obi and deny Atiku. Then I'm sure that the Sons know what to do at the end of the day to take this further. So my response will be yes and no, but I think I would align with the no a lot more because of my belief in Obi. Most importantly, I want to believe that there's a supernatural hand involved in this movement, a very supernatural hand, that Obi has become a name like this that will remain for a lifetime in the history of Nigeria. I don't think it's a matter of, coincidence. Something has been destined to happen along this line with Peter Gregory Obi, and probably the Almighty God who does it, Akbama Oriole, who has allowed this to happen, probably has, some lessons that he wants to teach us as Nigerians that we must learn from. Probably at the end of the day, giving Bola Ahmed Tinubu to hold the certificate of return as a placeholder, at the end of the day, may eventually become glorious for Nigerians. It will be that we have not had this on a platter of gold. We've passed through the eye, of the needle. You understand what I'm saying now? To get it, and they will value it more. And Obi himself will re-examine his commitment to his promises and the promises he has made to the Nigerian people, and find ways through what he's been going through right now to doubly commit himself to ensuring that he does the right things when he's eventually giving his legitimate certificate that is being held by Bola Ahmed Tinubu right now as a placeholder.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Lante Kponsaraki, GCO, Grand Commander, Order of the Obedient. You couldn't have been more succinct. I like the way you put it there. Nigerians and indeed obedient and everybody around the world, we should be hopeful. We should not be forlorn. There is a hand of divinity that is going on in all this. And God will not allow us to come this far and don't grant us that success that we truly need. And moreover, whatever we are fighting for is not personal. is for the growth, development, and positioning of our country, Nigeria, among Committee of Nations and to be true giant of Africa. I also want to go a step further to say that I think that when Peter Gregory Obi becomes president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I will be begging him to change the Nigeria day from May 29 to February 25th, because that was the day that Nigeria decided to turn a new leaf. So that will be one of my first bill and advice that I'll be putting on to His Excellency Peter Gregory Obi when he takes the saddle. No matter how long it takes, lies can never overshadow truth. The truth definitely will come out. So on that note, I want to say thank you to all obedient and to everybody who meant well for Nigeria, who came out
Okay, go ahead, sir.
who came out on the 25th to do the needful for our great country. Viewers, friends, and people of the Comrade Show, we've just spent about 32 minutes on the clock talking about
before you leave the subject.
Yeah, you can go ahead if you have something to say.
Yes, the other subject matter on the issue of protest. I like to say that Nigeria is pregnant with protests. The best thing that has happened in this process that we are not protesting right now, because before this election was rigged, there was a game plan. There was the expectation that we were going to come out and start protesting. And if we had done that, we probably may have lost this opportunity, because there's a window, open for people to contest electoral, results, to take their time to do. Probably Nigeria would have been in protest and would have lost the window. Nothing would have been able to happen because Nigeria would have been in flames and all of that. But that God is able to advise us to keep calm. It doesn't mean that we are not protesting our minds. The cow did say that when he did make his sound, the whole world was like, man, wow, look at how the loudness of this sound from the cow. But the cow did say that he has actually made a louder one in his own stomach before this one came out from his mouth. You know what I'm saying now? So when you look at it, the country right now is very fragile. I think it's advisable that we are not protesting, because at the end of the day, this is pure political alluta, at a macro level. And if we must understand, the most beneficial alluta is, an intellectual alluta. And I think right now, Obi has embraced intellectual alluta. You understand what I'm saying? And Nigerians are hopeful that this intellectual alluta will play out, because when intellectual alluta is on, it's just like the words of Mahatma Gandhi. It's a passive resistance. Okay, passive resistance is very strong. You understand what I'm saying now? So that we are here right now doesn't mean that we are not protesting. We are. My only fear is that we are able to manage future elections, particularly the one coming up on Saturday, and of course, the local government election coming up in Edo State in May. Saturday is very key because it's national. I'm hoping that there is no outburst from anywhere across the country because of what anybody may want to try to do to compromise the process. But if there's any spark, it can easily be, it can easily ignite the entire nation. And that may put this process of hope, at risk. You understand what I'm saying now? So I think that there is a hand of divinity in it that Nigerians have not erupted, into a protest that may be uncontrollable. Because when that happens, as they had planned, they would use the military and the police, shoot people, kill people. At the end of the day, after all said and done, the dust will settle, and that would benefit the placeholder, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even more. Because at the end of the day, there will be we may have lost out of the window, the court window, and every other thing, and then injustice will prevail. But so far, so good. We are not erupting in flames. We are not protesting. We are allowing the process, to refine itself. And Obi, I can assure you, as a thorough person, is going to get this through. Let me share something with you. Something you know very well, very, 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 very well, very well. Somebody who doesn't dream very often, but whenever he dreams, his dreams comes to pass. he doesn't dream often. This person had a dream. You know the story. We have talked about it. This person had a dream. In the dream, Obi had a bag, and Obi was walking, and that bag opened for whatever reason, and all the papers, small and big, the wind blew the papers into the air. All of them. Obi felt, a little disappointment, but he painstakingly took his time to pick each of these papers one after the other for quite a while. But he picked them to the most tiny bit of it, put it into his bag, zipped up the bag, and Obi raised his head, looked behind at everybody looking at him, and he smiled, and he said something. He said, all these old men, they said they get sense. And he moved on. I think that is symbolic. I think that is hope. And I think that is a sign that Obi will be giving certificate of return.
Thank you very much, Comrade Lamptey. I remember that story very well. The person that had that dream is a very good friend. And I believe in the fullness of time, he doesn't want his name to be mentioned now. We shall bring him to the show to come and tell Nigerians. I like the way you put that in there just to explain the situation. I think whatever they have planned, the initiative taken by Obi and the Obi Dati movement sort of broke their hands. Nigerians, let us not worry. We're going to have our time and our day in the sun, and we shall shine and indeed enjoy, because really we've worked hard. Viewers, friends of the show, if you want to say anything, please, you know our number. It will be on the screen shortly. Pick up your phone. Let us know what you think about this. I haven't talked about the national election. We know that INEC has postponed the gubernatorial election from yesterday to next Saturday. And we are going to spend the next few minutes of the show to talk about the gubernatorial election. And we're also going to look at Edo State as a case in point. Because Edo State is unique in all this because we are not having the gubernatorial elections. Governor Godwin Obaseki will remain our governor until 2024. The elections will take place sometimes in September or thereabout. So Edo State has not got any governorship elections happening. But because of that, it has made the House of Assembly election to be very, 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 very interesting. And whosoever is able to get hold of that house, we have a very strong point to canvass when it comes to the 2024 elections in Edo State. So, Comrade Lante Araki, while we are waiting for people to call in, I just want to let's talk about the gubernatorial election. With all this that is happening, do you have any faith in INEC that they will deliver, and that come March 18th, it will not be a semblance of February 25, just on INEC?
Well, once bitten, twice shy, my father will always say. It's not just going to depend on INEC alone. It's really going to depend on all of us. The secrets, to rigging February 25th election has become very much known to Nigerians. The issue of uploading results, the issue of loading offline, even though it's not going to be transmitted, to be changed later, all of this have become known to Nigerians. And I'm sure that Nigerians right now, will be ready for this process. And that's why I said earlier that I hope that even, those, wanting to compromise the election, they will not resist to the extent that there will be a spark that can lead to, a lot of things across this country. On the part of INEC, I want to believe that, there is no, I mean, except proven otherwise. I have reasons to believe that INEC colluded, with APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's APC, to rig this election in favor of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And why they did, it may not be very clear. Some have said probably that the INEC chairman and some of his goons may have collected money from Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do what they did. Some have equally expressed an opinion that it might just be that there is something about this process. There is some blackmail that will send, INEC chairman to hell, that they have used to, get him to do what he did. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's election, has been rigged purportedly, and of course, the case is going to be proven. I am not sure that other candidates for governorship and House of Assembly elections, they have that same power to rig the way Bola Ahmed Tinubu has rigged. So, which means that they may not have that resources to pay. You understand what I'm saying now, and all of that. So, to that extent, INEC may just do the needful, because even again, when we had the presidential elections, the National Assembly elections, those results we had no hitches when they were uploading them. You understand? It was only Bola Ahmed Tinubu's election that had hitches. You get the picture from what I'm saying now. And overwhelmingly, Labour Party members were elected in different parts of the country and all that. So I want to believe that in this particular process, it may not be the same way. Though we don't trust the governors, because right now I would say that the governors are a major problem to Nigerians. So, but I think we should give the benefit of the doubt that this will not be the way the other one was, and you could see that Lagos State Governor, for instance, Sanwo-Olu, he's been transversing the length and breadth of Lagos, meeting people in the streets, in shops, everywhere, canvassing for votes. That was never the case before, because they know that, as things stand, okay, if this election holds today, Labour Party is going to win Lagos. Bola Tinubu and his, what's it called, his empire in Lagos is going to be upstaged. You understand what I'm saying now? In Edo State, for instance, our own dear state, our governor,
Comrade, I'm going to pause you there for now. I have said that at some point after this whole process, we are going to have a post-mortem discussion of the Obi movement and the gains we've made. You've said a few. I know we have a lot to talk about. But now, Comrade Lamte, we're going to go back. Those states will be the place where we are going to finally end it today. Okay. But now, what will be your message? Because there are some states where the obedient movement is very strong. There are some states where we are not very strong. There are some states where we know that we have incumbent governors running for elections. There are some states where we have fresh people coming in, but the incumbent as their anointed candidate. So it's going to be a very fierce battle. Like I always say, immediately after God Almighty, the creator of the universe, the next most important person in the world is not the president of America or the president of any Western state. It is the president of Nigeria. Nigeria president is very powerful. And after Nigerian president, the next most powerful group of people are the Nigerian state governors. They are very popular in their state because they can do and undo. But in your course of depositing, you did mention that because we now know what they were able to do or did in February 25th, their hands are now weakened. Nigerians are now wiser. But again, these guys are smart. They are always looking for new things to do, to outwit whatever plans that the people have. So what will be your message on the general note to the entire states in Nigeria where gubernatorial elections will be taking place? I know that in all the states, House of Assembly elections will also be taking place. So just a general overview for Nigerians before we zero into those states.
To Nigerians, I mean, the outcome of the presidential election, till today, some people are still very much dejected. People are in low mood. Some people have, I thank God I've been able to convince some people who were like, we are not going to come out again to vote in any elections. I want to advise Nigerians. The same way we came out for Peter Obi, let's come out again. Because again, we are still voting for Peter Obi. Let's come out again. The same way we did. We must because by the time we reduce our numbers, we give them more room to do whatever they want to do. And I want us to believe that Obi has not lost this process. He himself has spoken to that. As a matter of fact, I like to play his message, that we should be hopeful. He told us very, very clearly that we are not losing our mandate. Let's take a listen.
From Delta, he moves to Benin City in Edo State to appreciate the people there for casting their ballots for him, advising them to do the same for the State House of Assembly candidates next week.
On behalf of Daddy and myself, I thank you sincerely. What we've been doing is going around and telling the people, thank you, showing them gratitude, and assuring you, though will follow.
Amen.
Then we go through darkness today, the day will follow. Your mandate will not go away in vain.
Your mandate will not go away in vain. He's saying that with confidence, with assurance and reassurance. He did say, though there's darkness, the day will break. And I will add to it that the darkest part of the night is always before daybreak. So what we are going through right now, okay, we must not be dejected. We must be encouraged. We are passing through the eye. We are passing through the fire. Okay, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. You understand? That's exactly what we are going through. We have a caller.
Yeah, let's take the call, please.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Dr. Okumbo. I'm calling from Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates.
Well done, Dr. Okumbawa. What have you to say? Go ahead, sir.
Well, I want to say you guys are men of strong will. Honestly, I must admit to that because the abracadabra the election result that INEC got out, even before they got the final result, I already saw the handwriting of the wall that something like cooking something, thinking, smelly, and horrible. That thinking of that proves that in this the most anticipated election in Nigeria's history, the most anticipated election in Nigeria's history, and some human beings somewhere have just that alone. I had to disengage to keep my sanity. And it was so bad that week that as someone around you, I had to take leave off work so that I can recover and rest. But I have not given up. It's not that audacity that they could go to that extent. That it was unimaginable that human beings can do that when the whole world is watching. These are no longer the days of all the world depends on government media alone. Everybody is like a broadcaster wants to have a mobile phone and data, and yet they could do this. So I haven't given up. What I'm still doing is I've come across some of my principles that I mobilized before that about the election, that they will normally will not participate in the election. And some of them feeling like, oh, if our voting can most guarantee, I've had to continue to encourage. No, it's not over. It is not over until it is over. The battle is still on. The main thing they have won the first half. Second half is we come here and we have not blown the final whistle. Until the final whistle, we are not giving up. Somebody in Port Harcourt, for instance, I said forget about the one is wicked. You will not know who it is, and you are saying what he can do. Now that you know what he can do, it's time to go and tell him that even that one he did before, he's going to fail eventually, and he eventually will smile, and they will be the one that will have a heart attack. Many of them will not need to see next 6 months by the time they do the election because of how they will suffer from the emotional trauma they put millions of Nigerians into. We will go, on Obi we stand, on his mandate we stand, on Nigeria. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sayomeri Okumbawa. Your words are touching, they are encouraging, and I know they will come to pass.
Yeah. So like I was saying, you know, I learned very much. I aligned very much with His Excellency, you know, Peter Obi. We must not despair. Let us not look at it like we are coming to vote for governors or for House of Assembly members. We are coming to vote for Peter Obi because the more, you know, Labour, you know, party, you know, elected officials we have, the bigger the strength that we are giving to this process. We are giving to Peter Gregory Obi. You understand what I'm saying now? Obi will preside over Nigeria as president. Take it or leave it. It must happen. But while Obi it's already working to get that done, we must get his lieutenants in place. You understand what I'm saying now? To ensure that by the time Obi take over the reins of power, you understand, he has those very important, you know, structure where, you know, the structure they talk about, we already having that structure right now in place, with about 60 National Assembly members already elected. You understand? So even governors were betrothed by Labour Party in their own states. Governors that wanted to go to Senate and all those things. established politicians were dethroned by Labour Party, it's not because the Labour Party candidates were popular. It is because they rode on the goodwill of Peter Gregory Obi. You understand what I'm saying? So time and chance has happened to them. So they must not sustain that time and chance and every other thing. And we must believe that, God that has allowed that to happen so far has already given victory to Peter Obi, preparing him for the bigger task ahead. And I tell you, Labour Party will be built on ideology. And for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we have a political party that will be ideologically based.
Thank you very much, Komilante Pawosarahi. In your view, and indeed mine, we think and we believe that if this tsunami is going to go as we envisage and as we want it, we need to have a proper national outlook, which means Labour Party should be represented everywhere. And like you said, we have a very firm grip at the national level now. There is no bill or discussion that will be passed in the National Assembly now that will not have a Labour input. Because anyhow you look at it, they will need some form of deals to be done. And that is good news for us. That is even if when something happens, some of the elections might be upturned, and you even have more Labour people in the National House of Assembly. So Komilante and indeed myself, we are begging and advising all Nigerians, all obedient, all people that mean well, let us not be forlorn. Let us come out in our full throttle on the 18th of March in every state in the Federal Republic of Nigeria to give our vote at the polling unit to states where we have governorship elections and where Labour Party has governorship candidates, and in states where we have House of Assembly elections to vote massively for members of the House of Assembly. By so doing, we'll be growing from the grassroots to the national level, and we have more feathers, more wings to the already existing big wings of the Labour Party and indeed Peter Gregory Obi. So thank you so much, Komilante, for that. And
just before you leave, sir, okay, it's important to add this. Some states are very strategic in this country. Lagos State is one of them. I want to appeal to please, if you are there, Nigerians, if you are watching us on Facebook, share our broadcast. I bet more they put like. Those things they help us much more. We on Facebook, not the two they don't promote political discourse as this so much. It is how you share that we're able to reach out to as many people as possible. So when I put like, I don't want to see you guys put like. Henry Ezema, they see you. Asabota, I'm calling your names now. Master, one of the like, love, and every other thing, and let's share. It's important because we need to encourage ourselves. It's very key. Now I just want to add that in this process that we are in right now, Lagos is too key to remain in the hands of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The first jinx has been broken. As they rig Lagos rich, they could not rig it to give Bola Ahmed Tinubu victory. You understand what I'm saying now? And from the figures we have from this in the situation room, Bola Ahmed, what's his name? Peter Obi may have actually won Lagos by not less than 1 million votes.
That's
and
correct.
They know that.
That's correct.
And they know that. You understand what I'm saying right now? So, I want to appeal to Lagosians. I want to share this broadcast with Lagos well. Every obedient that we're shortchanged, that we're disenfranchised, bring out your anger, not in protests of destroying things. They are burned down some markets. They are antagonizing the Igbos. They are making a tribal problem. My people, look, bring out your anger and vote this young man. We must have a change of guard. Let us vote for I don't know how to pronounce Bedebo Rhodes Bibo. You understand what I'm saying now? As the next governor of Lagos State. Because if we need to puncture the wickedness of the establishment, we must take power out of their hands. And power is not freely given. It takes a lot of effort. And that's what Peter Obi is doing right now. As a matter of fact, Peter Obi did speak to this on a general scale. Let us listen a bit more.
Election is coming up on the 18th. Go out and
And the people erupted in
With
very
mission accomplished,
glorious,
and as Mr.
you know, in fact, they erupted in glory. You understand what I'm saying now? Obi instructed and asked that we should go out and vote for Labour Party because there's so much significance in that. Let us do this in Lagos State and vote for this young man. River State is another hot spot. We cannot afford to leave River State in the hands of Wike anymore. Wike has proven to be the biggest betrayer of all time. He calls people betrayers. You understand what I'm saying now? But Wike is the most systemic betrayer that we have in Nigeria. And we must puncture Wike by ensuring that the man that Wike is bringing out to replace him as governor, that man should not see the light of the day. River State people, you did it before. Don't worry, your result will count. Obi won Rivers, carried Rivers but from what we have, by not less than 800,000 votes. But the Wike stood and stole all of that. So we are looking at this particular election right now. River State people must be more committed than ever to vote for this young lady as the next governor of River State. This is very important. Our lives depend on it. The future of this nation depends on it. Her name is Beatrice Itubo. She is, I mean, I've listened to her talk. You understand what I'm saying now? I think she is tested. You know, she is ready for this matter. Very importantly. So Nigerians, we can only add our voice, you know, to that of, you know, incoming president, Peter Obi, that we vote Labour all the way for governorship, for House of Assembly. For those who have asked me questions privately to say, man, what if these Labour candidates, you know, they don't have integrity? There are people that we see that cannot be delivered, that cannot deliver. Let me ask you, how many APC or PDP, you know, elected officers have integrity? How much have they delivered? I think we are anchoring this on the framework that we are going to be having a Labour Party that will be ideologically based. A Labour Party that will be presided over by Peter Gregory Obi, whether president or not, but Peter Obi is the leader of the Labour Party, and he already has a template for how Nigeria is going to be, you know, transformed. And this template is not just presidential, it cuts across all elected officers of Labour Party. They must distinguish themselves as Labour Party so that the obedience movement will be alive and strong forever. So let's do it for Peter Obi, let's do it for Labour, and let's do it for ourselves.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte. I really like the way you pick those two states. I will go a step further to say that Kaduna State is another state that the Labour Party is looking up to. We have a very formidable candidate in Kaduna State. And I will be very happy and fulfilled if after the gubernatorial election, we can have more than 10 states that we can truly call pure obedience states. That would be a very good pass mark.
Absolutely.
We have some of them already dotted. It's just unfortunate that Edo State is not running for office. I would have said that is a +1 gidigba, because that is Edo State is the most obedient state in the entire federation. I think, Comrade Lamte, that Lagos is very important. Sometimes when our parents give birth to us, they give us names. The meaning of Gbadebo Rose Vivo. Gbadebo in Yoruba means the one that brings the crown. The crown is coming. And is coming to first time in history, a typical Yoruba man. I'm not one that will do tribe, but I just want to remind us that all the former governors in Lagos State, since the dispensation of this democracy from 1999, has never been true Lagosians. It is well established that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is from Osun State. The current governor, Sanwo-Olu, is from Ogun State. And I even hear that the Speaker of the House of Assembly is also from Ogun State. This is the first time that Gbadebo Rose Vivo, a true Lagosian, his parents, his grandparents, and parents were all from Lagos. And he represents a very good block. He is a complete Yoruba man, the son of an Igbo woman, and is now married to an Igbo woman. But let's forget about tribe. I think he's better positioned, he's young, fit, and can deliver and take Lagos State to the best of position, and indeed Nigeria. So I want to appeal to all of us across the country. Let us come out in our full throttle to vote for the Labour Party and its candidate. The time is fast spent. Remember the D, always share so that those that are not available now will be able to watch it and see it later. But as we begin to wrap up, I want to zero down to Edo State, which is very important. In the last few weeks or days, Edo State has become a topic for discussion. Even though we don't have a gubernatorial candidate, even if there's no gubernatorial election taking place in Edo State, there is election to the Edo State House of Assembly. And if I'm right, I think it's 24 seats, Comrade Lamte. 24
Yes,
seats,
yes,
24 seats in the Edo State House of Assembly
yeah,
is
up for
up for
grabs.
grabs.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, Edo State is made up of 3 senatorial districts. We have the South Senatorial District, the Central Senatorial District, and the Northern Senatorial District. As it stands, Labour Party has picked up the seat for the Edo South. I think Edo Central went to APC or PDP, I'm not very sure. And
APC.
Edo North went to
APC.
APC. So as it is, Oshomola of APC. So as it is 1-1, isn't it?
No, it's 2-1.
Oh, 2-1. So
Yes.
the Central went to APC as well.
Yes.
So, but we have a moment and a point to correct all that come 18th of March 2023 when we go out to vote. Comrade Lamptey, you have done a lot of podcasts on this. I think I was counting last time, it's about 2 or 3. We all know where you stand. You are ardently obedient, no forgiveness. And if we have no apologies, and if we have advised people that they should come out and vote for Labour candidates, the same thing should be said of Edo State. I'm also aware that a lot of people have come out as well with different contraption and stories about this. Even the incumbent governor is on rampage, campaigning and also joining Sawolu and others to eating corn in the market and going everywhere. So what is your take? And I want you to speak to this, Comrade Lamptey. This is very important because the news that is going around is that when the APC guys are campaigning, people are saying that when APC takes the House, God forbid, they are going to come and impeach the incumbent governor, Godwin Obaseki, who, in my view, has just a few more months left to be governor of Edo State. I don't see how impeaching him will make any meaning. They've also said that if the Labour candidates become victorious and they take the House, they are also going to impeach Governor Godwin Obaseki. In my view, I don't know how that will benefit Edo State. When it's clear that the people that will become members of this House of Assembly are indigenes and peoples of Edo State, so they are not going to be alien. I know you've done a lot of podcasts, but many of our viewers who love our program will want to hear from you. Do you think that is the mission of the Labour Party? And what will be the benefit of the Labour Party impeaching Governor Godwin Obaseki? Or do you think that is scaremongering? I want you to speak to that.
First and foremost, my brother, nobody goes into an election that they are not even sure they are going to win, or they don't know whether they are going to win, with impeachment in mind. One, Edo State is very fragile. It's fragile because of what APC and PDP has done. The political climate of Edo State is not one that instills much confidence. And there's been a lot of tussle, under Governor Obaseki between APC and APC, APC and PDP, PDP and PDP. As a matter of fact, the PDP, National Assembly members that lost out in this last election, national, presidential and National Assembly elections, I understand that some of them are very unhappy with, all of the issues they've had, and they are blaming, the authorities of Edo State for being responsible, because, talking of the leadership of PDP in Edo State, and the divided leadership and all of that, with all the troubles they've had, in fighting, court, they were unable to really concentrate and put their house in order, to fight for a place in this, election and all of that. Now, one thing I must tell Edo State people is this: if you give the house to PDP, this fight will not stop. The fight has distracted Edo State from, really taking a cosmic look into governance as much as possible. The fight has distracted Edo State people so much that this same fight has created so much hate, dislike between Edo State people and Edo State people. Some people are pitching tent with this political leader, be it Governor Obaseki, be it Oshomole, be it what's his name, Dan Obi. These three figures. People are pitching tent differently, and the tent they are pitching, by the time we bring it to the field amongst all of us, okay, people are not happy with each other because of all of these. So whether if APC itself is the one that becomes, dominant in the House of Assembly, it is honestly, the problem is still going to continue, because at the end of the day, the distrust between Oshomole APC and Obaseki's PDP is so much, and we're even hearing now that what's his name, Oshomole and Dan Obi, they are teaming up. I mean, hearsay. I don't want to take it as truth, but that's what we are hearing. And in politics, anything is possible. So at the end of the day, PDP does not merit the House of Assembly of Edo State. APC does not merit it. The only party right now that is standing, thank God we have Labour Party, through Peter Obi, that has the capacity to occupy the House of Assembly and not be in this drama of tussle between the established APC and the established PDP, is the Labour Party. So it is only rational for Edo State people to fully go Labour, irrespective of all this story they are painting. They want to impeach Governor Obaseki, they want to do this, they want to do that. Look, man, some of us, we are not interested in Obaseki's impeachment. Why are we going to be interested? You know what I'm saying? Now, Obaseki is just a few months to the end of his tenure. So, besides that, let's face some reality. What is the governor afraid of? If you have governed well, your accounts, your records are clean. There is no hole anywhere, and every other thing. Why would you be afraid of anybody coming up with impeachment? I mean, let's face reality. Because some Benin's have called me to use ethnic sentiment. Obaseki is our own. We cannot allow an outsider to come and dethrone our own. Who is not our own in Edo State, for God's sake? Who is not our own? I stand here and I make bold to say that I have friends across Edo State, whether Esan, whether Edo North, whether from everywhere. And I have good ones that, I mean, we don't even, when we are relating, we don't even think of who is what tribe. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? So at the end of the day, we are all our own in Edo State. Everything that we must do must be in the interest of all of us. So that sentiment, I don't buy into it. And I must say that the time has come when everybody must keep their books straight. If you are a local government chairman, you are a governor, you are a president, if your books are not straight, and you have contravened sections of the Constitution that brought you into office, or rather that expected some responsibility from you and every other thing, if there is something happening that warrants impeachment, why not? Why not? Why is that going to be a sentiment that we're going to be flaunting? But I think the Obaseki I know is a man who is discreet. Obaseki I know is a man that cannot be impeached. The reason I say so is that I believe very strongly that Obaseki's books are clean. So that even if it's an APC-dominated house, they bring impeachment. The man
God forbid, though.
No, hypothetically, I'm saying the man proves his books are correct and they are straight. You understand what I'm saying now? Peter Obi was impeached. He went to court. The court saw that his books are straight. He was reinstated. You understand the picture from now? So the issue of, we are going to impeach them shouldn't be an issue at all. It shouldn't be a sentiment that we must express. You understand what I'm saying? But in any case, the only political party that will bring that balance, that will reduce tension in Edo State, if they are elected and they are a majority in the House of Assembly of Edo State, is the Labour Party. Because Labour Party is not part of all this drama. Labour Party will just come there and serve in the interest of Edo State. Now, another reason why APC should not be elected anywhere across Edo State is this. We see what they have done to Nigeria. The insecurity, this Naira matter right now that's making everybody suffer, all of the hardship in the country, Jackmaism has become a matter that everybody's sorting after. People write me daily. Bros, I beg, can you help us? We want to travel. We have money. Numerous, because of the state of the nation, occasioned by the APC. We have had election. APC bought the election. We can evidently prove that. You understand what I'm saying now? Anybody that goes and to print the ballot for APC is validating Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because whether we like it or not, at this state today, this election is not just about the House of Assembly elections, it's about 2024. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even before Obaseki became governor second term, has always wanted to put Edo State in his bag. We cannot allow that. They are using Oshomole right now. Oshomole is the biggest political tortoise we have in the history of Nigeria that has come from Edo State. He's going now knocking heads. He goes to Eastern land, you understand what I'm saying, now hold secret meetings and try to poison the Eastern people against Benin people. He goes to his people, he already is having much of his people in his back and every other thing. And all of these games, they are creating huge gap, huge distrust amongst the people that are supposed to be very much united. So the only people, the only political party that can sustain, okay, and promote our unity will be the Labour Party. But when the Labour Party is members are elected, they will be neither for this or for this. They will stand and look at their constituencies. Now, on the part of PDP, the reason why we must not, elect PDP members is this. Look, my brother, as a person, I like that we create a sense of some balance all the time. The last PDP house we've had that is outgoing, as far as I'm concerned, they were just an extension of the governor's office. Because everything that Governor Obaseki brought was not debated, they all just passed. Many constituencies were not represented, there were only 10 of them. There was history behind that. The guys did not come to take their oath of office early enough. They went to call this on a good day in a state where people are together. Is that matter supposed to be a problem? That we are now going to run 4 years without having all the constituent members of the House of Assembly represented in the House of Assembly. You understand what I'm saying now? The governor and his government, I mean, it's good for them. They are comfortable with that. But at the end of the day, there are several constituencies that have lost out in this process that were not represented. Or ordinarily, the state assembly members should go to their constituencies and look at what they need, bring the message from their constituency to the House of Assembly. That did not happen. So we did not have democracy at the level of the House of Assembly in Edo State in this last 3 years or so going. So right now, I think that we need to have proper democracy that will not be at the beck and call of the governor of Edo State. And that will bring out the best of the governor of Edo State. Because people will ask the necessary questions, and then we have to respond to those necessary questions. Imagine a state where the governor of Edo State presented his budget. In some ministries, there were no commissioners to go and defend their budget, and it was passed. With some additional even money, more than what the governor brought. Look, I would say, okay, that on governance, I think Governor Obaseki is going to go into the history books as a good governor on matters of governance. Okay, I think he will be judged as someone who has done well, whether now or later. You understand what I'm saying now? And for those who have compared Governor Obaseki to what's his name, Oshomole, look, man, darkness and light they are not the same at all. On governance, Governor Obaseki has outdone Oshomole on very many fronts. You understand the picture? That we can verify evidently. Okay, what is making Oshomole, become this garrulous, going from place to place, even in Edo State, making incursions into Benin villages and every other thing, and people are hailing him, is because Oshomole, when he was governor of Edo State, did share a lot of Edo State resources. He was a very generous governor, and people like generosity as such. He did, make people happy and all of that. You understand what I'm saying now? Okay, but Obaseki is not necessarily doing that. If he's making some people happy and not making others happy, well, that remains to be seen. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? Then the other part is that there is so much discontent with Obaseki. Yeah, a lot of issues are springing up, here and there. The policy of destroying houses, people are not happy with it. But many of these people are people who were really, really strong, movers of his own re-election and every other thing. And some of us actually thought that those matters would have been done differently, even if it's just to impose fine on those people that have built houses in government on government properties and all of that, instead of destroying houses. Some people may argue that, oh, it's the right step in the right direction. The truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, all the government lands that we know, okay, they are being shared by government officials. So if people have built houses where government has not put any, I made an example with this. There's a land in Uselu, okay, it is Iyoba land. That land, when I was in Edo State over 20 years ago, that land had signboard all across it. This land belonged to the palace of the Oba of Benin. No trespass. Nobody can go and buy such land. Now, a parcel of land is there somewhere. People make incursions to that land, those lands. They sell. You understand? And the person who is buying, okay, has gone to the chief of the village. He's not at fault. He has tried to verify as best as he could. You understand the picture of what I'm saying now? At the end of the day, there is no signpost anywhere to show this government land. And tomorrow somebody just comes and this is not government land, and they start destroying houses. I thought that many of those believe that that was not well done. I probably thought that that would have been done, differently, could have been done differently, and all of that. So this is what Oshomole is taking advantage of right now. You understand? Because of the discontent. You understand? But on other fronts, on governance, okay, we can see that there are so many things in place that the governor is doing. So many more to come, in process and all of that. So over and above everything, for this House of Assembly matter, we cannot afford to have a rubber stamp House of Assembly that will be on the apron string of any governor or any government. We need to have an independent House of Assembly that will help us look at the books properly and give proper representation to their constituents. Lastly, sir, on this matter, when the Labour elects those state House of Assembly members overwhelmingly, okay, these guys will be baptized into the Labour ideology that is going to be fronted and led by Peter Gregory Obi, which means that their loyalty will be to the ideology of the party, which is competence, integrity, proper representation. And that is what the ideology of Labour Party is going to be based. So my people, those people, no matter the sentiment expressed, and besides, for those who are saying that, governors now our own, now Benin, now this, now that, now that, we have so many Benin people contesting, as Labour Party candidates. We have so many Benin people contesting. Those contesting in Edo South, they are all Benis, all of them. You understand what I'm saying now? And Edo South is the largest constituency in the House of Assembly. So at the end of the day, who is not our own inside this matter? Who is not our own? These are the faces of some of these guys who are contesting that those state people must, as a matter of urgent national security, to defend, to redeem Edo State and the future of Edo State, vote for these people because they will bring the best out of governance in Edo State. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lamte Kpawosa Reaki, and indeed all our viewers. That is the point that we are going to anchor. Comrade Lamte has spoken a lot. He's done a few programs on this. If we are truly Labour Party and we are truly obedient, we have another opportunity come 18th of March 2023 to sign that off. And looking at the crowd in Edo State in Benin City when Peter Gregory will be visited, you will know that the state is fully obedient. And the only way to put it in paper, given the fact that we don't have a gubernatorial election next Saturday, is to come out en masse and vote for the Labour Party. Whatever the news is, the Labour Party candidates that will become members of House of Assembly are not going there to impeach anybody. There is no point impeaching Governor Baseki. And like Comrade said, Governor Baseki is very meticulous. If he has done well, I don't think he has any skeleton in his cupboard. We had also planned at some point to do a proper dissecting of the Obaseki administration.
Yes.
But the politics at the national level and the labor movement never make the comrade show to realize that. We shall still do it. My only grouse with Governor Gordon Obaseki is that he promised to set the process right. And like we always say, if you don't do things right, you run into trouble. If we had got a functioning proper House of Assembly members, they will be recontesting today, and we will not be talking about Labour Party. But if we are to move forward in our country, Nigeria, and in our state, we need to jettison the old guards. We need to retire them, PDP, APC, and set the states and indeed our country on a new trajectory. So I thank you so much, our viewers, for listening to us and for being part of the program today. I also want to thank in a very special way the only caller we had today all the way from United Arab Emirates, talking of a very formidable, obedient, and a true Nigerian, Dr. Osayemere Okungbowa. Thank you so much for ringing in. The Comrade Show will come your way again next Sunday by the grace of God. But just before I go, I want to ask Comrade your final word as we prepare for the 18th of March 2023, where there's going to be another tsunami and a seismic, decisive action by fellow Nigerians and obedient. What will be your final word? Just one liner.
Nigerians, it's a new dawn for Nigeria, and the only advocacy for all Nigerians right now, for all of us, is if we need to realize this new dawn, we must go labor from top to bottom. There is no compromise. I have very close cousins running under PDP, to the House of Assembly. But with what we've been through, that's what I'm saying. That we must look at a different window, and that's why we always say that we can not all lie down and face the same direction, and all of that. So those things right now require balance. Those things require a good sense of judgment, and it's only Labour Party that can bring that. So I really would call on Edo State people from Edo North to Edo Central to Edo South to go all the way Labour. Peter B has assured that the mandate will be realized, and of course, Labour Party will be funded even more on very huge, a political ideology of good representation, as 2-to-1 for that, integrity, and what have you. So, my people across Nigeria, it's important that we deliver Lagos State from the many years of trauma, the many years of stealing, the many years of subjugation that state has been through in the hands of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his cronies. We must give our mandate to this young man. I'll put his picture out there. His name is
Gbadebo Rose.
Yeah, Gbadebo Rose Vivo. This young man is young. I think he's even less than 40 years old or so, around that region. So he's a very young person that we need to trust to get this done. I've listened to him. He's very intelligent. And for Rivers State is one of the most troublesome states, one of the most troublesome governors you have had in the history of this country, in Governor Nyesom Wike, who equally doubles as a serial betrayer. You understand what I'm saying now? And who wants to impose his own person as the candidate, as the governor of Rivers State. I can tell you, this is verifiable, that young man has a case of over 450 billion naira that he has embezzled in Rivers State. And nobody's talking about it at this moment. And yet, we cannot allow the worst of us, to take over our nation, where the best of us are struggling. To that extent, we must give our support to this young lady in Rivers State, Comrade Beatrice Itubo, for the governor of Rivers State. And all these people, I don't know them. Okay, we are making this advocacy on the strength of the hope that Obi has given to us. Let's go out there and vote Labour all the way. Let's turn Saturday into a proper Labour Day, that all of us can be proud of ourselves, while we are looking forward to the mandate of Peter Gregory Obi being retrieved. May God bless you all, Nigerians. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lante. I asked for one liner. You gave me a dozen loads of liners, but you did it in 1 minute. As we round up the program, I want to beg all of us. Remember what happened on election day? That woman that had a bloody face went to the hospital, came back to cast his vote. A true testament of what the obedient is. And as you go to cast your vote for Labour Party on the 18th of March, I want you to remember, number 1, no structure. Number 2, no structure. Number 3, no structure. Let us take the no structure to their door point and retire them. Bye for now. Enjoy your weekend and remain obediently obedient.
Make Comrade Show way. Comrade Lante Oriente. This is the Comrade Show.